So I picked some random things out of the hat to talk about, and
Oh
I thought this
boy.
one was pretty seasonal because I was looking online. So
Hmm.
the first, sort of the thing that comes to mind because it's spring here, and I'm in New Hampshire, and you're in Florida, so it probably lends itself well. It is certainly yard sale
Oh
season,
my
which
God.
are at least here.
Hmm.
Like I'm seeing a lot of like
Oh,
estate sales and whatever.
it's
And
always
I
yard sale season here.
in our jar of things that we thought we might want to talk about, I thought that we could talk about yard sales.
I love yard sales so much. And I
So, all
love
right. So, like
now
you and I
estate
come
sales.
into this at a very different place. So, all right, let's start with what you love about yard sales and what made you fall in love with yard sales and when.
Okay. I can't even remember the first yard sale I was at, but I'm sure it was with my mother, like not holding my hand, but like had her hand around my wrist and was kind of tugging me around because so I wouldn't get lost. I remember her holding my hand like that when I was
And
little.
where were you in Massachusetts when?
No, this was in New Hampshire, probably like Enfield, but we were probably yard selling in Lebanon because obviously there were like more houses. She probably went around the lake and then went into Lebanon. That was our usually our yard sale route. So
So,
I would be like kindergarten, first grade.
and you just drove around randomly on a weekend and you looked for somebody that had yard sales on their front yard. Is that how it worked?
Yeah, I don't remember ever like looking in a newspaper yet. I know that came later. Um, like looking at the Valley News classifieds, there was a yard sale section.
Was there?
Yeah, there still is, I'm sure. But
So when you would go with your mother, like was it just like curiosity? Would you say, I need a new sweater for school? I'm gonna drive around the yard sales. Was
she
there
was always looking for bottles, stuff to craft with. She's always like to go to people's lawns because like if there were pine cones on the yard, she was always collecting pine cones for her wreaths. So we'd go to a yard sale, like almost under the guise of going to the yard sale if they had a good tree with pine cones that she could collect. Because she'd always be like, I'll give you $30 if I can fill up my bag with some pine cones.
so she would
Um,
offer to actually buy the pine cones?
yeah, they never made her. I don't think anybody ever took any money for her cleaning up their yard.
Well, not to get off topic, but your mom makes amazing wreaths. I know that like for years, it wasn't until we had a flood in the house here, her wreaths really held up. I think we had some of them in our eaves, but so were you excited when you'd go to them? Like, would you be prospecting for trinkets?
Always, but there was a time that I got like probably around 12 or 13 that I was embarrassed to go to yards.
Okay.
Just as I was like, listen, thrift stores, anything like that. I had like a stage that I was, but then I quickly got out of it, as you know, because you and I yard sailed in New Jersey. I found those pink pumps that you made me get, those really
Yeah,
high.
it's so funny. My introduction is I hated them. I thought they were horrifying. Every so often, my mom would have them. I'm sure that she was probably trying to get some like pocket money or something like that. But it was embarrassing. It was horrifying. It was horrifying, like because I thought it was like, I don't know, like poverty. Like my mom needed the money, and that's how it read to me. And the first one we had here as a kid, how this house is set up. So my bedroom really overlooks that front yard where you would have your
Uh-huh.
yard sale. And so the initial was, oh, everybody's going to think we're poor. So my mother's like selling, trinkets so that she can, go to the bar. So that was horrifying to me. And then what became horrifying to me is people that I knew going through and buying my clothes, which I don't
Uh,
know why that horrified me, but there was a particular kid that we went to high school with. I can remember coming and going through my Izod Lacoste shirts and then like going to school and them wearing them. And I guess if I was a mean girl, I would have probably said, you're wearing my hand-me-downs, but it wasn't that kind of feeling. It was sort of like, it was almost like to me the feeling of somebody going through your undergarment drawer.
it's invasive, yeah.
I absolutely hated it. And I know
Your
that we,
eyes. Aw.
oh, and I had so many of them. It was the striped era. And, but I do remember you did some, you and Greer, back when we moved to New Jersey, you did some, like you did some pot and pan kind of stuff for the apartment. You went somewhere that it was like an estate sale and got like a cast
We
iron.
got our refrigerator. Remember our
Oh, wow.
we got that
Wow.
yellow old refrigerator
At
at a yard
least had all
sale.
that condescension. But at the same time, I think that you were entering into a whole different ball game when we went to New Jersey. It wasn't like pilfering over somebody's like um, Dynamite magazine or something like that. It was like I couldn't believe that you guys came home with that refrigerator. I forgot that we didn't have
It
a
was
refrigerator.
total like serious. We went out to do like set, and I do that now. Like if there's something that I'm like, I could find this. I mean, we have like Swap Shop and stuff like now, or Facebook Marketplace and things, so
Right.
you can kind of. But there are still everybody still has yard sales, so they're all always, and it's so easy to find. Like now, I go on to Facebook Marketplace Sarasota, and I look up yard sales for the weekend. I mark out down which ones I'm going to go to, and bing, 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 boom, and I'm done in like maybe 2 hours, whether instead of a whole day looking for it.
Yeah, no, yeah. I don't know. I think that there is nothing that would take me to a yard sale. The closest I ever come to it is maybe like a vinyl record expo that's in a warehouse or something like that. But
How did I end up with you at the yard sale when you made me get the pink pumps?
I don't know if it was that we were like, that was when, like, I think I remember that. To
It was
me,
like
the
on
pink pump
Undercliff somewhere.
was where?
On Undercliff. It was right there somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know. It must have just been a random day, or maybe I had a car, or I picked you up and you asked to stop, because I can't think of a time that I would willingly go to. Like even now, I mean, there was the fun yard sale that Ruth had. I do have
Oh
very
my
fond
God, when she drank too much coffee.
and had a meltdown. But what I hated is, well, one, it wasn't horrifying to me because I'd grown up and I really didn't care what anybody really thought about that kind of stuff anymore. But at the same time, what I then hated about them is the bartering.
That still drives me crazy. And just not to bring my poor mother up again, but there was a time in Lyndonville, Vermont, and I don't remember her being like this as a kid, but I want to go get what I wanted. I want to show you because I have the thing. Um, well, okay, I'll just tell you the quick story. I wish I had known this. I would have brought it. It was a random question though. Okay, so and I probably have told you this before. So we're at this yard sale in Lyndonville, Vermont, and I had been looking. We had this little thing as a kid. It's a little milk creamer, and it was a cow.
I remember.
Okay, and it was like,
Mm.
but for some reason, like in a move, it got separated, and all we had left was the body. And then my mother was like, oh, well, we're never going to find the head, and threw away the creamer itself. So I was devastated by that because it was something that, like, from my childhood, and I don't know, there was something, just a sense of loss or something. We're at a yard sale in Lyndonville, and lo and behold, there it is. 25 cents. I pick it up, and my mom goes, tell her you'll give her a nickel. And I was so mortified that she said that. And the lady was sitting right there, and it was a quarter, and it was an antique by this point, that I put it down and I didn't get it. And I was so mad. I didn't talk to her for like 2 days. I was living with them in Sheffield. I was so mad at her. And like, it wasn't until like 5 years later, Ruth found one. It doesn't move, but she found one at some little thrift store. I think at the Yankee store in Lebanon. She ended up finding the moo creamer later on, but a nickel.
Yeah, that was the thing I never had experienced, and maybe because I can remember that one yard sale that was out in front of my window. I went to, my mother wanted me to help. I would not. I went to
Were you peeking
Hanover.
through
to the Dartmouth bookstore without permission. I can't remember. I think I went with a friend or somebody that didn't know that I had responsibilities helping with the yard sale, because those kind of silver spoon things about me made my mother batshit. So I do remember I was going to have no part of it after I saw a person filtering through my Izod shirts, and I bought a cassette, Missing Persons, that, I don't know if you remember the band Missing Persons. I bought their second cassette. And when I came home, I remember she was furious. So, all right, before we go completely off the rails, what is the difference between a yard sale and a penny sale? And I promise I have I'm going somewhere with that.
Okay, I think penny sales were at churches.
Okay.
I always think of penny sales as like the church ladies would always get something together and they'd call it a penny sale. That's the only time I've ever heard penny sale
And
used.
was everything a penny?
I don't remember.
So I remember going to a
been.
birthday party of yours, and being it was either your birthday or it was a good friend of yours that lived a few houses down. And we were outside at picnic tables, and one of the friends that were invited to the party came with her mother and gave a gift that I feel like this is where we were kind of mean girls. I think I laughed at. And I can remember the mother saying to me, why are you making fun of that? It's a beautiful blank. I think it was a shawl. It's a beautiful shawl from the penny sale. So I never understood what the penny sale was and if everything was a penny.
Oh my God.
All right. So if you were to, before we wrap it up, tomorrow, what would you go to a yard sale to look for?
Bookshelves. I'm always looking for bookshelves. That's like one of my things that's always in my head. But like I have too many bookshelves. And I like those nice wooden, like old looking bookshelves that are in good shape, but nice, So I'm always looking for bookshelves, and I'm always looking for like teaspoons, because I think people throw teaspoons away in this house and we're always like running out of teaspoons. So whenever I see teaspoons, I pick those up too.
Okay. And again, I kind of gave it away. I think the only thing I go looking for when I'm at a yard sale, if equivalent or if I would have dropped by one, I'm always curious for the shelf of weird vinyl, DVD, like a strange thing that people don't know is valuable, usually media related. That's the type of thing I'll buy there.
I always look for you if I see something like that.
You were always so great. When I was poor and I was living off of eBay sales, you would bring me these treasures from Listen that I was able to, in some cases, sell on eBay to somebody in Japan that would overpay.
That's awesome.
I lived for a summer off of eBay, not just what you would bring me from like thrift stores and stuff, but my own personal like hodgepodge. So I'm trying to think.
Estate sales, bringing up a different name, estate sales, and you had said it before, kind of infuriate me here. I've been to a really glorious estate sales, a couple here, but when they do them here, they hire somebody. It's usually because somebody died. But the family hires somebody, and they sit and they like overprice like a book for $6 for a book or something like that. And I don't like to haggle. I'm not going in there haggling. So I almost refuse to go to them anymore unless I've heard like this is a really great estate sale. But it is hard because they do a lot of overpricing, and sometimes it's just kind of creepy and weird, like to look at all the clothes are still in the closet.
Well, I think it's also a lot of times junk that they put under the good guys that you're getting some kind of treasure, when I don't think there's any real validation of whether or not it's a treasure. I think that there are people that go and they find that canning jar from 1935 that has a certain beveling and the whatever. So I certainly don't think. You obviously have scenarios in which you still enter into the yard sale space. I'm not sure that I do, not because I'm better or worse. I just don't have it's what I hate about, I'm not a really big shopper. I don't like to look, find, get somewhere and not have anything that I need there and get frustrated and annoyed. And I'm not gonna like negotiate for 25 cent versus like a 5 cent one. So anyway, so that is our take on
Yard
the
sales.
ridiculous topic of yard sales. So with that said, I will talk to you later.
All right.
All
Love you,
right, love
Pat.
you. Bye.
Bye.